Many people wake up every morning already defeated, not because of what happens in their day, but because of how they started. They rush, they check their phone, they react to problems before they even breathe, and then they wonder why they feel stuck, stressed, and unmotivated. Today I'll show you how to start your morning the way champions and leaders do, so you can rewire your mind for success before the world even gets a chance to pull you down. Good morning, my friend. Every day you are given 24 hours, a gift from God, and the way you begin those hours determines how you will use them. You don't start a journey without checking your map. You don't build a house without laying the foundation. And you shouldn't start a day without aligning your mind and spirit to your purpose. Let me show you how one simple shift every morning can change the entire course of your life. The very first thing you think about in the morning is the seed that will grow in your mind all day long. That's why so many people live their entire lives in cycles they don't even understand, because the seed they plant every morning is chaos, worry, or distraction. The moment they open their eyes, they grab their phone, scroll through other people's lives, check the news, look at problems, and immediately start feeding their mind with disorder. And here's the truth: you can't expect order to come out of disorder. The law of the mind says what you focus on first multiplies. When you wake up, your mind is like fresh clay. It hasn't been shaped yet for the day. It's ready to take the first impression you put on it. And here's the problem: most people give that power away to the world before they even give it to themselves or to God. They allow social media to shape their mind, the headlines to shape their mind, bills to shape their mind, instead of being intentional about shaping it themselves. You cannot start your day reactive and expect to live it proactive. The foundation determines the building, and the first thoughts determine the flow of your day. I've met people who told me, "Dr. Munroe, my day just keeps going wrong. I feel like I'm constantly behind." And I asked them, "What's the first thing you did when you woke up this morning?" And almost every time the answer is the same. They woke up and checked something that immediately pulled their attention into stress. That's not an accident, that's a habit. And habits shape your destiny. If you want to change your life, you don't start by changing your whole day. You start by changing the first 5 minutes. See, when you wake up, your subconscious mind is still open. The brain moves from a deep state of rest into what scientists call the alpha and theta states. That's when it's most impressionable, most ready to receive and store information deeply. This is why the first thing you put into it has so much power. If the first thing you see is an argument online, your brain will spend the rest of the day in defense mode. If the first thing you think is gratitude, your brain will spend the rest of the day scanning for more things to be grateful for. It's not magic, it's how your mind works. You program it with your focus. The problem is we've trained our mornings to be filled with noise. We wake up already running mentally. We think about yesterday's mistakes. We think about tomorrow's problems. We think about everything except the present moment. And the present moment is where your power is. That's where mental alignment happens. It's the discipline of telling your mind, before I give you to the world, I'm going to give you direction. Mental alignment means you decide the atmosphere of your day before the day decides it for you. It's choosing what voice you hear first, what image you see first, what thought you entertain first. It's reminding yourself of your purpose before you let the world sell you theirs. If you don't do that, you will find yourself living in reaction to everybody else's urgency instead of moving forward in your own assignment. And here's the thing: alignment is not just thinking positive thoughts. Alignment is connecting your mind to your highest values and your deepest purpose before anything else has a chance to pull you away from it. It's waking up and saying, "This is who I am, this is why I am here, and this is the kind of day I will have." It's not pretending that problems don't exist. It's making sure problems are not the first thing that gets access to your thinking, because whatever gets there first often gets the strongest hold. When you align your mind in the morning, you give yourself clarity before the noise comes. You put your focus where it belongs before distractions arrive. You decide your attitude before the situations arrive that will test it. And this isn't just about motivation, it's about mastery. Masters don't let their environment decide their mindset. They set their mindset and then they shape their environment to match it. The reason many people never break cycles is because they keep starting their day in the same mental place they were stuck in yesterday. You can't expect a new outcome with an old mindset. Morning is your reset button. Morning is your chance to tell your brain, this is a new chapter, a new opportunity, a new beginning. But if you're not intentional, the past will sneak into your present before you even have time to breathe. That's why starting with mental alignment is non-negotiable if you want to rewire your mind. You have to guard those first few minutes like they are sacred, because they are. This is the soil into which you are planting the seeds of your day. If you plant confusion, you will harvest more confusion. If you plant focus, you will harvest progress. If you plant gratitude, you will harvest joy, and the harvest always matches the seed. When you start with mental alignment, you are not just preparing for the day, you are preparing your mind to see possibilities where others see problems. You are training your focus to stay on what matters instead of getting lost in what doesn't. You are creating a mental atmosphere where your creativity, discipline, and vision can actually breathe. And most importantly, you are positioning yourself to live on purpose rather than on accident. When you wake up in the morning, the first voice you should hear is not the voice of the world, but the voice of truth about who you are. Because if you don't tell yourself who you are, the world will spend the rest of the day trying to tell you, and they will get it wrong. Every single day, there are forces trying to define you by your mistakes, your past, your failures, your circumstances, and even other people's opinions. That's why you have to make it a habit to affirm your identity and your purpose the moment you open your eyes. Affirmation is not just saying nice words to yourself, it's declaring the truth about yourself based on your purpose, not your feelings. Because your feelings will change every day, but your purpose is constant. And if you live by feelings, you will start your day unstable. One bad memory, one negative thought, and your entire mindset will be hijacked. But when you start with truth, you anchor yourself to something unshakable. Most people don't realize that every morning their mind is asking a question, who am I today? And if you don't answer it with authority, the question will be answered by whatever grabs your attention first. That's why some people feel like they've lost themselves. They've allowed their identity to be shaped by social media, by comparison, by labels, instead of by purpose. You were created for something specific. You were designed with intention. And you have to remind yourself of that every single day, because the world will try to make you forget. When you affirm your identity in the morning, you are reclaiming ownership of your life. You are telling your mind, I know who I am, I know why I am here, and I will not live this day outside of that understanding. Without that affirmation, you wake up and drift. And when you drift, you go wherever the current of life takes you. But purpose is the anchor that keeps you from being carried away by every wave of distraction and discouragement. You have to understand something. Your words have the power to shape your reality. The mind listens to the mouth. When you speak, you're not just communicating, you are programming. That's why it's so important to start your day speaking life into yourself. Say it out loud. Don't just think it, declare it. I am here on purpose. I am equipped for this day. I am valuable. I am disciplined. I will live with intention. These are not just motivational statements, they are truth statements. You are reminding your brain of what it already knows but can easily forget in the noise of life. When you wake up and affirm your purpose, you give yourself direction. Think about it. No pilot starts a flight without knowing the destination. No builder starts without a blueprint. And yet many people start their day without declaring the direction of their life. That's why they spend the day chasing everything and accomplishing nothing. Purpose keeps you focused. Purpose filters your decisions. Purpose keeps you from wasting your time on things that don't align with your destiny. Affirmation is also an act of resistance. You are resisting the lies that say you can't, you won't, or you're not enough. You are resisting the temptation to define yourself by yesterday's failures. You are resisting the pull to shrink your vision to fit your current circumstances. Every time you speak your purpose out loud, you're pushing back against the forces that want you to live small, distracted, and defeated. The most dangerous thing you can lose is not your job, your money, or your possessions. It's your sense of identity. Because once you forget who you are, you will start living like someone you're not. And every morning you have the chance to protect yourself from that loss by reminding yourself of the truth. This is not self-help, this is self-leadership. Leaders don't wait for others to tell them who they are. They declare it themselves, and then they lead their life accordingly. Some people wake up and the first thing they say is, I'm tired, or I don't feel like it, or this day is going to be hard. And then they wonder why the day feels heavy. You gave the day its script before it even began. But what if instead you woke up and said, I am ready, I am capable, I will not waste today, I will live fully aligned with my purpose. That shift in words creates a shift in energy, in focus, and in outcomes. Affirming your identity and purpose in the morning is like putting on armor before going into battle. The day will bring challenges. People will misunderstand you, circumstances will test you. But if you start from a place of clarity, you'll move through it all without losing yourself. You'll make decisions faster because you know what aligns with your purpose and what doesn't. You'll have more resilience because your value is not based on how the day treats you, but on the truth you already know about yourself. And here's the beautiful thing. The more you affirm your purpose every morning, the more your actions will naturally start aligning with it. You won't have to force discipline. It will flow from clarity. You won't have to chase motivation. It will come from conviction.
You won't feel lost. You'll walk with intention. The moment you wake up, your mind is starving. It's been resting for hours, and now it's ready for its first meal. And just like your body, whatever you feed it first will determine its energy, its focus, and its strength for the rest of the day. The problem is, most people feed their body before they feed their mind. They go straight to breakfast, coffee, or whatever quick fix they think will wake them up physically, but they leave their mind empty. Or worse, they feed it junk, noise, gossip, bad news, and other people's opinions. And then they wonder why their thoughts are scattered, their focus is weak, and their day feels out of control. You have to understand, your mind is your greatest asset. It's the factory where every idea, every plan, and every decision is made. If you don't fuel it properly, you can't expect it to produce the kind of results you want in your life. Just like you wouldn't run a high-performance car on dirty fuel, you can't run your mind on negativity and expect clarity, creativity, and confidence. Feeding your mind before your body means you prioritize mental and spiritual nourishment above everything else in the morning. That means before you check your phone, before you scroll through social media, before you reply to emails, you take time to put something pure, powerful, and purposeful into your thoughts. This could be prayer, meditation, reading scripture, studying something that inspires you, or listening to a message that lifts your vision higher. It's about setting your mental diet before the world serves you its menu of distractions. When you wake up and go straight to feeding your body without feeding your mind, you're basically saying my physical energy matters more than my mental direction. But the truth is, your body will follow wherever your mind leads. If your mind is unfocused, your energy will be wasted on the wrong things. If your mind is discouraged, your body will move without motivation. That's why you must start with the mind, because the body is the servant, but the mind is the master. The first thing you consume mentally in the morning acts like a compass. It sets the direction for your thoughts. If that first input is negative, your mind will unconsciously scan for more negativity to confirm it. If that first input is uplifting and empowering, your mind will be tuned to find opportunities, solutions, and reasons to be thankful. This isn't just psychology, it's the principle of sowing and reaping. Whatever you plant in your mind first thing in the morning will grow throughout the day. Think about a farmer. He doesn't just throw random seeds into the soil and hope for the best. He chooses his seeds carefully because he knows that once they're in the ground, the process has begun. Your morning thoughts are those seeds. If you don't plant them intentionally, weeds will take over. Weeds of doubt, fear, comparison, and distraction. Feeding your mind first is how you choose your seeds before anything else gets planted. Some people say, but I don't have time in the morning to do all that. Let me tell you, you don't have time not to. Every minute you spend starting your day right will save you hours of wasted energy later. A clear mind makes faster decisions. A focused mind avoids unnecessary distractions. A strong mind bounces back from challenges quicker. And all of that begins with what you feed it. Feeding your mind before your body is also a statement of priority. It's you saying, my inner life is more important than my outer life. My thoughts matter more than my appearance. My spirit matters more than my schedule. When you live like that, you stop being driven by urgency and start being led by purpose. You stop reacting to whatever comes and start creating the kind of day you want. And here's something you have to remember. Your phone is not breakfast for your mind. Those endless feeds, notifications, and messages are like processed sugar for your thoughts. They give you a quick spike of stimulation, but they leave you drained and unfocused later. Instead, give your mind something alive, something that strengthens it. Read something that makes you think. Listen to something that stirs your vision. Reflect on something that reminds you of your values. That's the kind of food that builds mental strength. The more consistent you are with feeding your mind first, the more you'll notice a change in how you handle your day. You'll start walking into situations with a calm, clear mind while others are already stressed. You'll see possibilities where others see problems. You'll respond with wisdom instead of reacting with emotion. And that's not by accident. That's the result of starting every day by nourishing the very thing that governs every decision you make. When you get this right, you won't need as much external motivation because you'll already be self-fueled. You won't rely on circumstances to inspire you because you'll have already inspired yourself before you stepped out of the door. And little by little, you'll notice that the quality of your days and the quality of your life is directly tied to the quality of the food you give your mind first thing in the morning. Every single day you wake up, there's a battle for control of your time, your focus, and your energy. And here's the reality. If you don't decide what your day will look like, something or someone else will decide it for you. Life is full of voices calling for your attention, problems waiting to interrupt you, and distractions designed to pull you off course. That's why the greatest leaders, achievers, and visionaries start their day by deciding it before it even begins. Deciding your day is not just about making a to-do list. It's about setting the spiritual and mental tone of your life before you face the unpredictable. It's about establishing the boundaries of what you will allow and what you will not allow to enter your mind and control your actions. Because the truth is, you can't control everything that happens around you, but you can always control how you approach it. That control starts before the first problem shows up. When you don't decide your day in advance, you live in reaction mode. You move from one interruption to another, letting other people's emergencies become your priorities. And at the end of the day, you feel exhausted but unfulfilled because you didn't actually live your day. You survived it. You allowed the day to decide for you. But when you take those first moments in the morning to decide your day, you shift from reacting to leading. You move from being a passenger in your own life to being the driver. Deciding your day means you ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be today? What attitude will I choose? What will I focus on? What will I not give my energy to? And you answer those questions with clarity before life has the chance to answer them for you. This is not wishful thinking, it's intentional living. You are creating a mental blueprint, and that blueprint becomes the framework for every decision you make throughout the day. Think about it like this. A builder never starts construction without a plan. If they do, they end up with a crooked, unstable, and incomplete building. The same is true for your day. If you don't have a clear design in mind, you'll end up with a life built out of random pieces, none of which truly fit together. But when you decide your day, you are telling your mind, here is the structure, here is the purpose, here is the flow, and here's something you must understand. The world will always try to decide for you. Your phone will decide it wants your attention. The news will decide what you should worry about. Social media will decide what you should compare yourself to. Your inbox will decide what is urgent. But when you've already decided your day, you have a filter. You can look at every demand and ask, does this fit into the day I already planned? Does this align with my priorities? Or is this just noise? Without that filter, you say yes to everything, and saying yes to everything is the fastest way to live a life that means nothing. Deciding your day is also about emotional preparation. If you wake up and let the day hit you with unexpected challenges before you've decided how you will respond, you will be driven by mood instead of mission. But if you start by choosing your mindset, choosing patience over irritation, choosing gratitude over complaint, choosing focus over distraction, then no matter what comes, you've already chosen how you will handle it. And that choice makes all the difference. The most successful people don't just have a plan for their day, they have a non-negotiable standard for how they will live it. They decide in the morning what their attitude will be, and they protect it fiercely. They decide what their priorities are, and they guard them like treasure. They decide what is worth their time and what is not, and they don't apologize for saying no to the wrong things. If you've ever felt like time is slipping away from you, like your days are blending together without real progress, it's probably because you've been letting the day decide for you. But time will always slip through your hands if you're not holding it with intention. Deciding your day is how you hold it. It's how you take ownership of the hours you've been given. It's how you make sure the life you're living is the life you've chosen, not just the one that happened to you. When you make the decision first thing in the morning, you start walking through your day with a sense of authority. You're not hoping for a good day, you're creating it. You're not waiting to see what mood you'll be in, you've already set it. You're not guessing whether you'll get things done, you've already committed to it. That confidence comes from knowing you've started your day on purpose, not by accident. And here's the truth. The day is not your enemy, but it will take control if you give it control. You can't drift into greatness, you can't stumble into purpose. You must decide it, and when you do, you'll find that even when the unexpected happens, you are no longer easily shaken, because you already know who you are, you already know what matters, and you already know where you're going. The day might bring the storms, but you've already set the course. My friend, every single morning is a new gift, a fresh page in the story of your life. What you do with those first moments determines the tone, the focus, and the fruit of your entire day. When you start with mental alignment, you choose clarity over confusion. When you affirm your identity and purpose, you anchor yourself to truth instead of drifting with opinion. When you feed your mind before your body, you give yourself the strength to lead instead of follow. And when you decide your day before it decides for you, you take ownership of your time, your energy, and your destiny. The world will always try to rush you, distract you, and pull you in 100 directions, but you are not called to live on accident. You are called to live on purpose. The power to rewire your mind and reshape your life is not somewhere far away. It's in the way you begin each day. So tomorrow, when you wake up, don't just open your eyes, open your mind, open your spirit, and step into the day you've already chosen to live.